And my hope is that since the women can come together, Scrap and Chaotic can do the same too.
You know what your problem is? I ain't got no problem. Now that your lane once, so I might have to smack that ass. You know, get done. Don't call me. Don't own it. I'm like T.I. When he said, hey, T.I. I don't want to kick it with y'all, I don't want to skate with y'all, I don't want to do nothing. It's now soon. I got a record I'm about to drop today that I already pre-recorded because I knew you was gonna come up, fumble up on some bullshit. And when this record dropped, yeah, you going like a troll, acting like, you know what I'm saying? You so G'd up, like that was a G'd up move, bro. You playing on TV. What you doing is, right, you allowing this whole TV thing. The reason I don't respond back against y'all is because I'm not trying to allow this TV stuff to really turn into something. You know what I'm saying? You threw a drink at it.
The tension was evident in the darkened room. Despite Scrappy's reputation as a hothead who was difficult to reason with and prone to losing his temper, something felt different today. He was pacing back and forth, his mind racing. The words reverberated in his thoughts like a broken record, a tangle of anger and incredulity. Everyone is unaware of the secret that Bambi and Khaotic share because of his. The noses months everything made sense now that he understood, even though the hints were small and nearly undetectable. A long-distance glance, a whisper too quiet to hear. Scrappy had suspicions, but the truth was never what he expected. Scrappy's stomach ached from betrayal, and his chest felt heavy, making it hard to breathe. He looked at Khaotic, who was a few steps away from where they had first appeared. He had safeguarded Bambi, known her since he was a small boy, and always thought of her as a sister. But now they were engaged in a secretive, complex relationship that Scrappy found incomprehensible. Even though they were like brothers, sharing everything and putting their lives in each other's hands, they had fought alongside him, laughed alongside him, won together with him, and lost alongside him. Tried his hardest to keep Bambi safe and hide her from the chaos that surrounded them all, but now the person he trusted the most had betrayed his confidence in the worst way he could imagine. His hands clenched and he could feel the wrath rising inside him. His eyesight became blurry, and he wanted to scream and shout to make them feel the same way he did as his rage grew like an uncontrollable storm. Weight of the betrayal. But something stopped him, a single heartbreaking understanding that Chaotic had laughed in his face and kept the truth hidden, even though he knew all along that he loved Bambi. They were hardly audible above a whisper as Scrappy let out a low, threatening scream. "But why did you not tell me?" When he looked into the eyes of Chaos, there was no regret or contrition, just. Because he was a foreigner and a traitor, Scrappy felt his rage eating him up and tainting his mind. The man had been his brother and colleague. "You never asked," he said, shrugging oddly. Calmly, he said, "That's all it took." What little patience Scrappy had left snapped with a look of frustration, and he rushed forward, slamming his fist into the side of Chaos' jaw. Scrappy could feel the fire rising in his veins as the crash reverberated around the room. The only thing that mattered to him was that he wasn't bothered by being injured and tricked. He was in need of retribution by now. Scrappy was so blinded and furious that he didn't hear her. Bambi stood in the doorway and rushed forward, a look of surprise and horror on her face. Scrappy stopped, she begged frantically. As their eyes locked, Chaos stumbled back and wiped the blood from his lip with the back of his palm. He no longer had the will to fight, not the type of fight Scrappy was looking for, but the cold knowledge that the woman he had defended was now on the other side and that the man he had named his brother was no longer there. You both understood that as Scrappy shouted, his voice was breaking, but you decided not to tell me. Both Chaotic and Bambi stayed silent. She looked at Pain but said nothing. The moment she spoke, everything disappeared, even though Scrappy hoped she would say anything at all to explain why she had chosen chaos over him and why she had done this to him. After all Bambi's grief, anger, and betrayal, There was only a painful emptiness. As Scrappy stood there panting with his heart thumping, one thing was certain, but his emotions clouded his judgment and prevented him from thinking clearly. He lost his faith in Bambi and his friendship with Chaos IC. He was never going to be the same. As a reminder that sometimes the ones you love the most can hurt you in unexpected ways, Scrappy felt the weight of the irreversible betrayal weighing down on his chest in the silence that followed.
He the one who out my name, disrespecting me, talking gangster. I never talk gangster. I never threaten you. I don't play no victim. I just don't do all that fake gangster talking and all that. You can't let me talking gangster. First of all, if I say anything sick or say anything crazy out my mouth, I got the right to anyway.
I probably went too hard or something, took something the wrong way or something like that, you know? So I want to say, I'm sorry to Chaotic.
We're getting somewhere. We're not. But not.
Because I can give a Because let me tell you something. When a go with me and he feel like I'm not a good person, I feel the same way he has. So we on the same page.
No, but he does not feel that.
He just said it. He said, hey, if you feel like I'm not a good person in your life,
No.
then you need to stay like that and don't stand on that. And we don't stand on it.
No.
Let's stand on it.
No.
He don't stand on it.
No, he said not. Stop. He did not say that.
What I said was, if you feel like I'm a bad person to you, then
Okay, but this is not about that right now. This is about you. How do you feel about him?
I never said I had a problem with him.
No, this what he do. This what he do. He say something, then he be like, oh, I ain't got no beef. I ain't got no drug.
Chaotic always trying to play a victim. He'll start, then he want to be like, I don't want no beef, man. If you got an issue, stand on it. If not, sit down and shut up, bro.
At the end of the day, like I said, bro, it don't even really matter.
Cuz gonna try to goddamn, he want everybody
like, oh my God.
No, because we're so grown, we're only making a assessment of our own thoughts here.
I can watch it good. I be like, oh.
Okay, so wait.
You know what your problem is?
I ain't got no problem with I'll beat your ass.
You had a million times to do it.
Why you on TV?
Man,
You a clown.
you got a problem with me.
You a clown. Keep talking that boy.